Racing at Catterick got underway at 2 o'clock with a 2-year-old maiden event run over 5 furlongs. They all ran 11. There were no changes. On the off, number 6, Tate Dancer, was the 10 to 11 favourite.
And they're off.
They've got 5 furlongs to run for the EBF North Riding Maiden Stakes, and quite a good early pace. And as they settle down, Cresh is the early leader. Cresh also well there is Make Music. Not too far away is Breeze Away. They're they come past the elbow, and now running for cover is one of the leaders. Cresh is still well there. Also well there is Make Music, not too far away. We've got Auction King. They're straightening out and coming towards us. One with a bit to do on the inside is Fortina, but as they straighten out towards us, it is just about Make Music, one of the leaders. Make Music as they come past the 2. Also well there, Cresh. That one has always been well there. The one finishing quite well wide is Tate Dancer. They've come past the furlong marker, and Tate Dancer has come through to take it up on the wide outside. And on Cresh has got a little bit to do now, but that is about third. And as they can, also well there is Pitch Black. And as they run towards the line, we've got a comfortable winner. It is Tate Dancer. Very close after that between Auction King and A Breeze Away.
First, number 6, Tate Dancer, 10 to 11 favourite. Second, number 1, Auction King at 33 to 1. And third, number 8, Breeze Away at 13 to 2. The 2:30 race was also main event for 2-year-olds from over 5 furlongs. They all ran 10, and there were no changes. On the off, number 9, Silka Cisa, was the 8 to 13 favourite.
5 furlongs a trip once again for the EBF North Riding Maiden Stakes, Division 2. And as they settle down, Melody Ann is the early leader from Absolutely Nuts. They're closely followed by Silka Caesar towards the centre. Silka Caesar and the White Face now have come through to join the leaders. Melody Ann, Silka Caesar, Taney Como well there together with Absolutely Nuts. Chantry Bellini badly out of touch, and last but one being bustled along is Spirited. Not too far away on the inside is Amarillo, that one racing next to Spot the Early Bird, but Silka Caesar and Absolutely Nuts and Spot the Early Bird and Taney Como. Ponsardin making very good ground on the leaders towards the wide outside. They've come past the 2. The field is tightly grouped, and Silka Caesar still just in front, but being pressed by Spot the Early Bird. Ponsardin racing wide, and Absolutely Nuts. Taney Como under pressure behind the leaders. A good race as they come past the furlong marker. Silka Caesar being pressed by Ponsardin racing wide, and Absolutely Nuts, and then Spot the Early Bird and Taney Como. But as they come towards the line, it's going to be close, but Ponsardin has the upper hand from Silka Caesar and Absolutely Nuts at the line. Ponsardin just, I fancy, very close after that between Silka Caesar and Absolutely Nuts. That's a close finish.
First, number 1, Ponsardin at 3 to 1 second favourite. Second, number 5, Absolutely Nuts at 12 to 1. And third, number 9, Silka Caesar, the 8 to 13 favourite. The 3 o'clock race was a 7 furlong handicap. They all ran 20, and there were no changes. On the off, number 20, The Devil's Music, was the 4 to 1 favourite.
They've got 7 furlongs to run for the Northern Echo handicap, and Silly's brother are smartly away together with others. Silly's brother the smartest away, but Orient Air setting a good pace goes on. Orient Air leads by a length to Silly's brother. Charlotte Frivola just behind him on the inside, racing with the Devil's Music. Also well there is MCA below the line. Is Quincy Martin. MCA below the line is in the midfield. Just behind the leaders in the midfield is Sally Fay. That one racing with Warrior Prince, and closely followed by Sharp Money also in the midfield. Farrah's Dancer badly out of touch. Last but one is Go Tally Ho. Sidney Smith is in rear. Also towards the rear is Stelby. A good pace this as they turn at the far end. They're about to come towards the 3 furlong marker, and Orient Air quickens again, goes a good 2 clear from Grand Guignol on second. And then behind those we've got Quincy Martin and Silly's brother on the inside about 4th. Highland Magic beginning to make ground towards the leader. Still with plenty to do is MCA below the line. On the wide outside, Sally Fay starting to make ground towards the leaders, but it's Grand Guignol as they come past the 2 from Orient Air, the early leader. Then Highland Magic is next, followed by Sally Fay, and these are followed by MCA Lucky below the line, making good ground. Stelby in the stripes making ground on the inside. Silly's brothers dropping away. That one racing with a Keed. On the wide outside, Sidney Smith has got plenty to do, but it's Grand Guignol quite comfortably with half a furlong to go. They'll never catch this. 20 runners, but a very comfortable victory. Grand Guignol clear at the line from Sidney Smith, and then MCA below the line, followed by Highland Magic.
First, number 13, Grand Guignol, 12 to 1. Second, number 19, Sidney Smith at 12 to 1. Third, number 4, MCA below the line at 10 to 1. The fourth also, number 1, Highland Magic at 20 to 1. And so on to the 3:35, a 2-year-old race run over 6 furlongs. Just 2 runners, and there were no changes. On the off, number 1, Sharty, was the 4-9 favourite.
And they're away for the Evening Gazette Stakes, and as they settle down, not a lot between the two runners. Sharty now going on from Wave Hill. Sharty by a length or so to Wave Hill and the spotted colours. Just a fair pace, and now Sharty still leads by about a length and a half. They're turning out of the back straight, and Sharty is still setting just a fair pace and no more. Leads by about 2 to Wave Hill. Sharty then, as they make their way round the turn at the far end, now shortly be coming past the 3 furlong marker, and Sharty leads by just about 2 lengths to Wave Hill. Past the 3, no change in the order. Sharty it is by just about 2 and no more to Wave Hill. They're turning towards us. They're heading towards the 2 furlong marker. Sharty on the inside. Wave Hill racing fairly wide of that one. Not a lot between those two runners as they come past the 2. Sharty sticking to the rail, being pressed in the centre by Wave Hill. Quite a good race, and Sharty under strong pressure now, and they're coming towards the furlong marker. Good 2-horse race. Sharty still being pressed by Wave Hill in the centre. They're both under pressure now. Not a lot between these two runners with 100 yards to go. Wave Hill on the outside has a narrow lead. It's going to be close, but as they come past the line, it's close, but Wave Hill just beats Sharty.
First number 2, Wave Hill, 7-4, second favourite. And second number 1, Sharty, the 4-9 favourite. The 4-10 race was a 2-year-old seller, ran over 7 furlongs. They all ran 20. There was one jockey change. Number 14, Jester's Gem, was the man of B. McGiff. On the off, number 2, Courting Nice, was the 4-1 favourite.
They've got 7 furlongs to run for the Sunderland Echo Selling Nursery Handicap, and Courting Nice is one of the leaders as they race away. Courting Nice setting a very good pace, not too far away. It's Energic, that one's about second. Just behind the leaders is Lee Crofter racing wide, followed by Roxy Music, and then Spray of Orchids. Loose Spirit is about 6th or so on the inside, racing with all the girls moving up, and Chroma's Express taking a very keen hold indeed just behind those. Ravicino racing wide of the leaders is only just behind them. Last at this stage is Mrs. Norman. Another one of the back markers is Jester's Gem. Also towards the rear. In fact, last but 1 is Arthur Stifel. Last but 2 is a Super Sub, and another one of the back markers is in the Marines. They're coming towards the 3 furlong marker. Still a good pace. Courting Nice made nearly all the running. Leads by a length or so from Lee Crofter and Roxy Music as they turn towards us. And then Ravicino about 4th, still making ground all the time. Energic just behind them as they turn for home. They're coming up towards the 2 furlong marker. They're spreading right across the course. And Courting Nice made all in the centre, still continues to lead. Courting Nice from on the inside making ground. Green and yellow colours is Loose Spirit. Not too far away is Lee Crofter, followed by Roxy Music racing wide. Jester's Gem in the orange and black is making ground towards the centre. Not too far away is Chroma's Express. A good race as they come past the furlong marker. Courting Nice and Lee Crofter, and here comes Ruddle to join the leaders, and Roxy Music, and then Super Sub and Spray of Orchids. It's going to be a really close race as they come to the line. It could be a 4-way, I'm not quite sure. And as they come in, Super Sub, Lee Crofter, Ruddle and Courting Nice. They're followed by Spray of Orchid and Roxy Music. Very close indeed.
First number 1, Lee Crofter at 20-1. Second number 13, Super Sub at 14-1. Third number 8, Runnel at 12-1. And fourth number 2, Courting Nice, the 4-1 favourite. The 440 race was a 3-year-old event, run over 1 mile and 6 furlongs. There were 2 non-runners, number 5, Al Bilal, and number 9, Fast Run. That left 10, and there were no changes. On the off, number 1, Sarawat, was the 1-2 favourite.
And they're away for the Darlington and Stockton Times Claiming Stakes, and 1 mile, 5 furlongs and about 175 yards is the approximate trip this time. And as they settle down, Sarawat is one of the leaders. Sarawat, also well there is Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing now goes on. Do the Right Thing from Bonnie's Game. Not a lot between those. Sarawat being steadied into third, followed by Chiarina. New York Antique Fair on the inside races midfield. Also in the midfield towards the outside is Mercer's Magic, and another one of the midfield runners at this stage is Enfant du Paradis. They're coming past the 2 furlong marker, but of course they've got another complete circuit after they come past us. And Bonnie's Game continues to dispute it with Do the Right Thing on the inside. Sarawat going nicely poised in behind those 2 in third, followed by Chiarina 4th on the rail, and then in the yellow headgear Mercer's Magic, followed by New York Antique Fair and Enfant du Paradis. Towards the rear we've got Charlie's Darling, Wings of Freedom, and Turtle Wood. Those are the last 3. They're racing away from us. They've got just over a mile to run from this point, and as they make their way around the turn at the top end, is Do the Right Thing, that leads narrowly on the inside of Bonnie's Game. Sarah Watmer remains third, close up, followed by Chiarina and Mercer's Magic in fifth. And then next on the inside is Newark Antique Fair. They're followed by Enfant du Paradis, and they're stretching out down the far side. 6.5 furlongs to go. Do the Right Thing by a length still from Bonnie's Game and Sarah Watt and Chiarina. And then Newark Antique Fair racing with Mercer's Magic, followed by Wings of Freedom being driven up from the rear. After that, Enfant du Paradis, Charlie's Darling, and finally Turtle Wood. They're about to come past the 5 furlong marker. The pace quickens. Do the Right Thing leads by about 3 parts to Bonnie's Game and Sarah Watt and Chiarina. Wings of Freedom still making ground all the time. Newark Antique Fair just behind the leaders, and they're turning out of the back straight. They're coming past the 4 furlong marker. Still quite a good pace up front. And Do the Right Thing and Bonnie's Game. Bonnie's Game on the outside has a narrow lead from Do the Right Thing. A length back in third is Sarah Watt, followed by Charlie's Darling, making very significant progress from the rear. That one is a real threat as they turn towards us. 2.5 to go. Sarah Watt is also right there with the leader. Sarah Watt possibly just in front now from Bonnie's Game. And then Charlie's Darling being hard-ridden, followed by the hard-ridden Wings of Freedom. And Turtlewood has got an awful lot to do. In fact, that one is tailed off as they come past the 2. Sarah Watt drifting towards the stand side, still just in front. And after that, Bonnie's Game on the far side is handy, followed racing with Charlie's Darling and Wings of Freedom. And also coming very strongly is Enfant du Paradis. But it's Sarah Watt with 150 yards to go. Sarah Watt that quickens and goes 2 or 3 clear. Sarah Watt is going to win the races. Sarah Watt quite comfortably at the line. And as they pass the line, it is Sarah Watt from Enfant du Paradis. And then Newark Antique Fair, closely followed by Wings of Freedom.
First, number 1, Sarawat, the 1-2 favourite. Second, number 8, Enfant du Paradis at 33 to 1. And third, number 10, Newark Antique Fair at 50 to 1. The winner there completing a Catterick double for Henry Cecil and Willie Ryan. The 5-10 race was the Yorkshire Evening Post Handicap, run over 1 mile and 6 furlongs. Non-runner here was number 13, Avro Anson. That left 19 runners. Number 11, Merchant of Venice, was the mount of G. Baxter. Number 19, Media Star, was ridden by D. Carson. And number 20, Mac Rambler, was the mount of A. Garth, who claimed £7. On the off, number 3, Dalby Dancer, and number 6, Carlingford, were the 6 to 1 joint favourites.
They've got about 1 mile, 5 furlongs and 175 yards to run for the Yorkshire Evening Post Handicap, and as they settle down, Carlingford racing wide is one of the leaders. Also well there amongst the leaders is Phil Joy, but Carlingford the definite leader. Chawal is well there together with Phil Joy. Another one prominent at this early stage is Always Alex, but it's Carlingford from Chawal and Always Alex, and then Phil Joy. Be Visible tracks the leaders towards the inside. Also handy at this stage, racing wide, is Merchant of Venice. The grey Yes I Can is just behind the leaders. They're passing the 2 furlong marker, but they've got another circuit to go, so plenty of time. Carlingford, who took an early lead, continues to show. Carlingford from Chawal, and then just behind those we've got Needwood Sprite racing just wide of the chasing pack. Coming past the furlong marker for the first time, Carlingford from Chawal. And then Racing Rascal is third. Phil Joy is handy, racing with Be Visible on the inside. Needwood Sprite just behind them, together with Always Alex. And then Merchant of Venice and Yes I Can the Grey, followed by Oh Danny Boy, and then Dalby Dancer. Dalby Dancer. And towards the rear we've got Media Star. In fact, that one is last. Also towards the rear, White River. Another Windbound Lass is another one of the back markers. Mac Gambler hasn't got many behind him. Also towards the rear is Mr. Cakemaker. They're way down the far side, just a fair pace with 7 furlongs to go. And Carlingford, who led after a very short distance, continues to show 1.5 in front of Chawal in second. That's the order as they race down the far side. They've got 6 furlongs to go. And Carlingford from Chawal, and then Racing Rascal third, followed by Needwood Sprite and Always Alex and Be Visible, and then Merchant of Venice, and then Phil Joy is next in the midfield, and then Dalby Dancer next on the inside, also midfield. Just behind that one, with plenty to do, is Oh Danny Boy. They'll shortly be turning out of the back straight, and all to play for at this point. They've got just over 4 furlongs to run. Still Carlingford in front. Racing Rascal goes second. And then behind those, being bustled along in third, is Needwood Sprite. and they're followed by Be Visible on the inside and Racing Rascal. Merchant of Venice is not too far away. Windbound Lass has made very good ground from the rear. That one has a chance as they turn towards us, but it's got more to do. But it's still Carlingford from Racing Rascal. Be Visible now goes third. They're spreading across the course once again, and as they come towards the two, it is Carlingford being pressed by Racing Rascal and Be Visible, and Dalby Dancer on the inside. Media Star improves to the rear, but plenty more to do yet. Merchant of Venice is not too far away, but under pressure, and also under pressure now, but going back with his Windbound Lass. Yes, I Can. The Grey is on this side, and Ice Magic also making ground stand side. It's a good race. Carlingford being pressed by Be Visible and Dalby Dancer. Be Visible possibly as they come towards the line for Dalby Dancer. It's going to be close, but at the line, Be Visible, Dalby Dancer and Carlingford quite close, and they're followed by Racing Rascal.
First number 12, Be Visible at 8 to 1. Second number 3, Dalby Dancer, 6 to 1 joint favourite. Third number 6, Carlingford, the other 6 to 1 joint favourite. And fourth number 17, Racing Rascal at 20